Joelle Rich became the new public sweetheart after rumors swirled about her new romance with Johnny Depp, and it isn't hard to see while many questioned and other thoughts their fling you had fizzled out that is far from the truth. There are many reasons to think that they are growing strong, which we will uncover in this video. Joelle Rich spoken out about the hotly investigates relationship and what she has to say. This act of spending weekend with Johnny Depp make people in negative thinking that how that break their relationship. Joelle Rich has one of the most interesting relationships in Hollywood. She is a close friend of Johnny Depp, who she has known since she was 19 years old. They have been together for over 20 years, and they have been through many ups and downs together. For example, when Joelle was 22 years old, she went through an eating disorder that ended up costing her her job at a radio station where she was a DJ. While recovering from her eating disorder, she met Johnny Depp and started dating him when he was just 16 years old. They were engaged for 3 years before getting married in 2010. But things did not last long after that. In 2017, Joelle filed for divorce from Johnny Depp after 15 years of marriage due to his alleged drug addiction that caused him to be verbally abusive towards her for years on end. What is her opinion about Johnny Depp? Joelle Rich is a woman of many talents. She's a writer, an actress, and a director. And most importantly, she's also dating Johnny Depp, and we think it's safe to say she's one of the luckiest women in the world. In her new memoir, Finding Joelle, she talks about her relationship with Depp and how they met. It all started when she was just 15 years old at a party, and he was 20 years older than her. They became friends and eventually both moved onto the set of a Sleepy Hollow story together. Rich has written about their relationship before in her book The Secret Life of a Hollywood Geek. But this time around she wanted to give readers more insight into what it was like for them to be together and how it changed as time went on. She described Depp as a man who could be tough sometimes, but who was also very aware that he had things to learn about love and relationships from his children. I've been lucky enough to have a relationship with Johnny Depp for the past 20 years. It started as a fun, casual friendship, and then it blossomed into something more. We've been through some tough times together, and we've had some of the best moments of our lives together. We've been through a lot together, but we always seem to be able to find something new to celebrate in each other's company. Sometimes it's just laughing at his jokes and watching him go through his routine when he does his makeup, or sometimes it's celebrating a new project or film that he's working on together. We're really good at working things out, we just need time. And even though there were some rough patches along the way, I think we're stronger now than ever. Our relationship is what keeps us going in this crazy world of fame and fortune, and no one can take that away from us. I don't think many people know how much I love Johnny Depp. When he was in the tabloids for his bad behavior and drug addiction in the early 2000s, I was a teenager and I cried when he and Amber Heard divorced. He's been through so much over the years, but it never seemed to bother him. Instead, he always seemed to be able to laugh at himself and make everyone around him laugh with him. He was always so kind and generous to me. We met once at an event where he was promoting the Rum Diary and spent hours talking about our mutual love of music. We went out afterwards and ended up staying up all night talking about life and cinema. Is their relationship so strong? Joelle Rich, who made her name as one of the stars of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, has opened up about her relationship with Johnny Depp. The two have been married for 2 years, and it seems like their relationship is still strong. The two were first introduced by Joel's former husband, Harry Richman, a producer for Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They only started dating after Harry died in 2012 at the age of 58. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Joelle talked about how their relationship started. "We didn't know each other," she said. "I met him at a party." She also talked about how they met again at a charity event in Los Angeles. "I was there with my friend, and he was there with his friend," she said. "And then we just got really lucky that we ran into each other." Joelle Rich, the actress behind many of Johnny Depp's most famous roles, opened up about her relationship with the star in a recent interview. Rich told The Hollywood Reporter that she and Depp have been together for more than 20 years. They met when Rich was just 18 years old and he was 21. She said that she thought he was the most beautiful man I had ever seen at the time. The two began dating shortly after meeting each other, though Rich didn't want to get serious with him until she turned 21 because she knew it would be frowned upon by her family if she did so soon after getting engaged to someone else. Rich also said that it wasn't until all these years later that she realized how wealthy he actually is, something she hadn't considered before their relationship began. Joelle Rich opened up about her relationship with Johnny Depp in a recent interview with the New York Times. "He's incredibly sweet, and he's a really good person," says Rich, who first met Depp at the movie set of A Little Chaos in 2015. "He can be very charming when he wants to be, but he can also be really intense and serious. He has really high standards for himself and other people. He has this sort of confidence that I think is contagious. It's hard not to like him." Rich says she was initially nervous about dating someone who had been romantically linked to several other women over the years, but ultimately found that it didn't matter much to her because Depp seemed so focused on her as an individual, and not just as a piece of meat. "The thing that made me stick around is that he never once made me feel like I wasn't enough," she said. "He never once made me feel like we weren't compatible. I met Johnny Depp when I was 9 years old. We were at a summer camp called Camp Can, and he was one of the counselors. I love him. I know that sounds like a little girl crush, but it's true. And it's not even like, oh, he's so dreamy or something. It's more like, I just have this feeling that he's going to be okay, and I want to be around him when he is okay. He has always been there for me ever since we were kids. When my parents split up, he was there for me through everything. He let me stay with him in his house when my mom was away working on her movie projects, and when my dad got remarried and moved to another state. Johnny helped me make new friends at school who understood what I was going through. And when my mom remarried again and started dating a guy who wasn't very nice at all, Johnny didn't judge me or treat me any differently than before. He just listened. I had a long, complicated relationship with Johnny Depp. It started in the early 90s when he and I were both about 20 years old and dating other people. We would see each other at parties and on movie sets, but it was always in a casual way. There was no pressure, no expectation that anything more would happen between us. Then in 1993, when I was 22 years old and working as a waitress at a restaurant called the Green Mill in Washington, D.C., Johnny Depp walked into the restaurant. He was there with his then wife, Amber Heard, and they were having lunch with some friends of theirs. They were all sitting around the table together when Johnny turned to me and asked me if I wanted to have lunch with him later in the day. I couldn't believe it. He'd never given me any indication that he thought of me as anything more than a friend. He just kind of assumed that we would be hanging out together. But this time he actually asked me out. So after lunch, which lasted about an hour, Johnny drove us around for about 3 hours before dropping us off back at my apartment building so I could get ready. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. That's the end for this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.